Looks like this thing might be working. Javier, hello, sir. So, welcome to tonight's live stream. What is it, like the 25th of something of September? And didn't do one last week. Was busy doing other shit. Didn't have a whole lot to talk about. Didn't want to pester you guys. Looks like the mic is working. I didn't check that ahead of time, so seems to be functioning. Tonight's live chat is brought to you by Primary Arms, makers of some really cool prism sights. They have them in multiple flavors, 1X, 3X, 5X, shit like that. I don't know. But most interested in the 1X GLX. That's their gold line. You can see on the right about there is an SLX on my signature rifle. But the GLX just dropped. There is one on its way to me for checking out. Saw it at SHOT Show, thought it was awesome. And it's not going to go on that signature rifle. It's going to go on my rifle so that I can play with it more. And that's what we're looking at. So they got the top spot, top billing on this week's live chat. Oh, let's see. Shinde, hello. Adam Hall, Mr. Foreskin, A Dawn. Interesting. Stephen, hello, sir. So let's see what else we got going on. What do we got? What do we got to talk about? Let's see. Oh, guess I can do this. Since they are the sponsor, and we are talking about that particular optic. There is a link to the optic that we're talking about. Gonna pair a magnifier with it? Nope. Don't like magnifiers. Done with the flip to side, flip to center, twist off. Like I don't really like any of them. How's the T-Mags? Well, speaking of which, it was on my notes to talk about. Here in this First Wave Holsters P-Magus mag pouch, that is AR2, is a T-Mag full of 855A1. So yeah, knock on wood. I don't have wood. Seems to work like a regular Gen 3 P-Mag. And digging them. I get some more of those. They're like fucking out of stock everywhere. Uncle Guns, hello. Yeah, T-Mags out. Actually, it's on my list of stuff to chat about. Colt Manny, hello, sir. Let's see what else we got. Brand spanking new product drop. Adult dust covers, we're calling them. Adult dust covers. So I do have a link. I didn't save any pictures to this computer to like just bring it up onto the screen. So you can click the link and go see adult dust covers. So what I did was I took some Magpul enhanced ejection port covers and lasered them up with some logos and sayings, kind of sayings that Tremis Dynamics is known for, either the company motto of free thinkers are dangerous or the company slogan, move your fucking feet. So that is, what are they, $20? So it's only like a couple dollars more than a regular one, like 15 normally. So extra $5, you get ones that say either Tremis Dynamics on the outside, and then when you open it, just move your fucking feet. Free thinkers are dangerous. Or the opposite, like you can get it with the slogan or the motto on the outside, and then the logo on the inside. Both flat dark earth and olive drab. Sporting them on a number of my rifles already. Do some UV testing on T-mags. Where the fuck do I get? I can just set them outside. I guess that's really, I don't have any other access to UV light. I guess if I had a welder or a welding shop, I could just set it up there so a bunch of arc flash on it. Yeah, I suspect that Magpul's translucent material is probably more robust than Lancer's. And Lancers they don't even seem to have many problems. And when they do have problems, shocker, it's with the metal feed lips. Because rifle mags always have problems at the feed lips. And way more with metal than with plastic. I'll call that a clue. Turtle, hello, sir. Good to see you. Dash of my truck will not work. Do you know why transition glasses don't work inside of a vehicle? Because windshields stop UV rays. So it will get visible light, it will get infrared light, but it will not get ultraviolet light. It's also why you can't get welder's flash through safety glasses, but as long as you have decent safety glasses. But like good safety glasses, like somewhere in the package, they stops 99.4% of the UV rays, which means while you may get physical pain from the visible light spectrum, and you will feel heat from the infrared spectrum, you will not get optical burns from the UV spectrum while wearing safety glasses. That's why safety glasses are important in a shop that has welders going on in it. More you know. Regardless, I'm not interested in doing a whole lot of like specific scientific testing. It's like Magpul gave me that magazine for free. I actually traded a Gen 1 P mag for it. They stopped making Gen 1s in 2008, I believe. I think 2008 they went to Gen 2s. So I still have like maybe 10 of the Gen 1s here. And a fella that I know who might pop into the shack because he does that once in a while, wanted a Gen 1 old school P mag. So I traded him straight up because he had already got a couple T mags. That's how I got it. Having myself some nice local made birch beer tonight. That would be not alcoholic stuff. It is like root beer, but from birch trees. There's a fucking fair in town that I hate, but there's some food vendors and whatnot that are pretty cool. And one of them is a local place that makes their own birch beer. So every year I go down to the fair. I only go on Military Appreciation Day because it doesn't cost me $8 to get in the gate. And then I go over and I get some birch beer at the one place. And then I get a blueberry chili dog at the other place. And I call it good. And that is the chili sauce. It's more of a meat sauce than a chili. It is got blueberry, I don't know, puree or something mixed in with the meat sauce. And the place that has the food truck is a blueberry farm. So they have other blueberry products, but the blueberry cheese or chili dog is fucking awesome. So once a year I get one of those and I buy half a gallon of local birch beer. That was today, by the way. In case you was wondering about that. If you're in Bloomsburg, the fair is in town. You probably already figured that out if you were here. What other products popped around since the last time we had a chat? It has been a while, I know. Got a laser trainer from Grip Keeper. So some of you may have remember me showing this guy. This is a macro grip, and it's got some springs in it to work on grip strength. This has got the light springs in it. I think it has light, medium, and heavy. But he started making these like with a little more grip, so you could like get a sight picture, like a rear sight at least. And then he made like a full gun that had the different thingy bobbers. And then he made one with a functioning trigger. And then he made one that the trigger activates a laser. So it works like a SIRT gun. And then he also made them so that they'll either with screws or magnets accept an optic on the top for more dry practice. So I had him whip me one up with the laser for a macro, optic ready. And I asked him if he could not print, because it's all 3D printed, if he could not print sights on it, because I'm going to cut them off and put big dots on. Just haven't ordered them yet. And I got this guy. It comes in a bunch of colors. I put a plate on the back because I don't have an optic I want to put on this, but it's got a functioning trigger, and you can probably see the end going on red and whatnot. It's not as cool as like a Blackbeard. It's way less cost than a Blackbeard, but it, unlike SIRT guns, it comes in more varieties of pistola. So this is one for a macro. So I get to get some dry fire practice with without having to change holsters, because I have an M&P SIRT gun, but I got to move holsters around. I can't do it from shit I own because I don't carry M&Ps anymore, and the guys at SIRT don't do macros. I have it in a Shade O holster. Goes in there just fine. So Laser Trainer is the company making that. I probably maybe yep. Put a link in here. I'll give it to you. Tim Larson, hello, sir. Ooh, Gucci. Yeah, no shit. Blueberry jam and blueberry ketchup on a burger. Oh, fucking count me in. Absolutely. Big fan of the blueberry. John, hello, sir. I don't see a comment from you, but I see that you tried to type something. So, hey. So there, that was on the product end. What else I got over here on products? Oh, I actually have some announcements on products to make. But I don't know if Zach Bush. Oh, there's John's comment with the flag, the pirate flag. Hoist the black. You may need to do that in your pirate ship. I hear you're gonna get a bunch of water down there, John. I don't know if Zach's gonna stop in, and but if he did, I was plotting to talk about shotguns, and I don't know if he's listening or not, and he's probably not. But I got this cool pouch from One Thief Surplus. I don't remember who makes the fucking pouch though. As some of you are aware, I whipped up a shotgun rig and like a placard with some mag pouches with shotgun cards. And the waist strap for the shotgun rig, I pilfered from like a tote full of like other parts I took off. And I used the GBRS, the Goobers belt, and it has that Tegris piece with Molly running sideways on it. I never really figured what I would put on that spot, but this pouch I saw over at One Thief Surplus, I don't have a link, but that's the name of the surplus shop. It's meant to be worn vertically, and since their Molly on that belt is just a vertical piece turned sideways, I can mount it sideways, and it holds like 19 shotgun rounds. So it's, I don't know if you can see how I mollied it on the Tegris. So this is like the waist belt, and this will be in like the small of my back. And it's got Velcro with what 6 shotgun shells on the outside. And if you open it up, it opens up, and there are a bunch more shotgun shells on the inside. So it's a way to carry some spare shotgun ammo in a shotgun class. It'd be cooler if it didn't have elastic and it had Velcro, and I just put more shotgun cards on it, because this would be to like reload shotgun cards off of me without going back to like the car or working out of the tables or whatever in a shotgun class, but it was like $10. So it's a pretty slick little pouch. So if you Google or search for shotgun pouches over at One Thief Surplus, you can probably find one of those if you're interested in it. So that's the other gear thing. Yeah, that's all I got here, like hands-on to talk about gear-wise. But also on the gear side, even though I don't have something here to show you, the very first light-bearing commercially for sale holster released. It's called the Morning Star, which is outside, like it's like the shade O, like this, but with a flashlight. The first one out is for a Glock 48 with a TLR7 sub. The next one will be for a 365 with a TLR7 sub. Then after that will be TLR7, probably the HLX, because the HLX will fit the regular TLR7, the TLR7A, and the TLR7 Flex. What I've been told, I don't really know. So that'll be the third flashlight. And then it'll probably be TLR1s and then X300s. I think that's the order. But in between there, like after the 365 with the sub flashlight, the sub TLR, whatever the fuck, will be inside the waistband holsters for both the 365 and the Glock 48. I think those are going to be called the light bringers. And then after that will be the appendix inside the waistband SHD holsters, which were going to be called the Lux. I think those are coming out for those two models, like those three types of holsters, and then going to the HLX and then the TLR1 and then the X300. Now, I was asked, and I'll give you a straight up answer. No, the Trema signature holster, either of the three, the Trempendix Alpha, the Trempendix Omega, or the Mark V, will never be a light bearing option. It won't happen. And last I heard, there were no other lights being planned, like no O lights, no SIG lights. Whoever the fuck else makes lights. Doesn't Mod Light make a pistol light? Although, if I recall correctly, it's just like the size of a rifle light bolted onto a pistol. So even if you have like a G17L, it still sticks out past the muzzle or something. Maybe, I don't know. So yeah, the light bearing things are coming from First Wave. So that's semi-gear related. That's absolutely 100% of all the gear talk that I got in me. I mean, if you guys ask questions, I mean, it's the only shit I had planned to talk about, I should say. All right. Coming over here to this thing and trying to see. I left a post asking if anybody had questions, and nobody did. And I don't think I had any left over from before. So we don't have to get into that. I should have asked Andrew Smersik for if he wanted to be on tonight's live stream. He's probably not watching either because he doesn't do that kind of thing very often. But he started something down there in Florida. And not a hurricane. Somebody else started that. But he started doing something, and I thought the idea was awesome. We actually talked about it before he did the first one, and I think he's done a couple by now. First Wave Omega has been good for a few weeks. Yellow Eyelet didn't make it. Well, that's a shame because I assume it didn't make it because you didn't want it on there. It just doesn't. I cannot recommend it without an eyelet along the bottom edge, like from the trigger guard to the muzzle. Don't tie it off in a fanny pack anywhere else. Not safe on any holster ever. Got to be along that edge. So there's that. Foreskin, I will get back to your question in a moment because it is a very good question. So anyhow, talking about Andrew, he started something down there in Florida called Gunfight Club. So it's like Fight Club, but with guns. And he's actually got a snazzy little logo. But, and you know what's really cool? His wife makes soap. How does that, like, it just means it's destiny. You know, Fight Club, Gunfight Club, make soap making, like, you know, anyhow. So he's doing this thing, and it's all force on force, and he's just using airsoft because it's super affordable. And they get together and they work on stuff. Don't know all the details of what they work on, shooting on the move, things like that, using cover and concealment. But now that he's got it up and running, you cut it off. You can just unscrew it, like take the two bolts out and remove the wiggly jig, and because now you have 2/3 of a wiggly jig that doesn't do anything. But whatever. We're gonna do our own gunfight club up here. So just like Project Mayhem, it spreads its tentacles everywhere. We're going to do a gunfight club here in Central PA. It will be in a study group type format. The big difference, I think, with gunfight club versus fight club is rule number one is you talk about gunfight club because you want more people to come do it. You want more people who train to come pressure test their skills in force on force in an affordable manner. If we are honest in our what we would like out of people, prepared folks, we want them to be confident that their shit works against the resisting opponent. And if to do that, you got to do force on force. And I know force on force can be expensive, especially if you're running Sims or UTM. Like it's a big, or even like the Unit 4 Solutions, which gives you no pistol options, but it's expensive to get into. So airsoft is an affordable method, and we're going to do it here. However, in this study group format, you're going to have to own your own airsoft pistol and your own airsoft rifle and your own mask. I do have some loaners that I use for paying students, like when they come to a class that they need those things. But tearing up and wearing out my gear for not paying students is not a wise financial decision on my part. So simple. You want to come to Gunfight Club, get a pistol, get a rifle. I'm going to say either or because you could go either way there. And your own mask, and we're going to do them like study groups. And we're going to pressure test mostly skills, maybe a little on the tactics side against resisting opponents. And as long as you're bringing your own stuff, like your own green gas and your own BBs, there shouldn't be much in the way of cost because we could do it at places where we don't have to rent and have a facility fee. So should be a thing. So we're going to start one up, an extra branch or a chapter of a gunfight club right here in PA. I'll get Andrew to help me figure out what they do that's pretty cool so that we can copy it. He's actually going to be here in December doing, I probably have it buried on my list here somewhere. Pistol Skills 1 on 7 December and Red Dot Pistol on 8 December. And if you do either of those, there's a low light pistol workshop that I'm running in the night in between those two. And if you sign up for one of Andrew's classes, he has a coupon to get that for half off. Just saying. I could probably, we'll see if this works. Maybe I'll do a link to that. Bam, there it is. combatarttraining.com/training. So you can find Andrew's classes when he's coming up here. So yeah, since he started that thing up, we're doing one too. I don't know when the first one is, or where up here it's going to be. We're going to do it somewhere. I will say this, when it comes to cold months, if we don't have an indoor place we can use, it'll probably be more rifle centric, because rifles recommended gear is AEG, which is what EAG. It's electronic airsoft gun, something like that. Battery powered, like they run off like LiPo batteries. It's lithium ion polymer batteries, and they're not as affected by the cold. Whereas pistols that don't suck are run off CO2 or green gas, and cold affects them a bunch. They make electric pistols, but the magazines look like long USB sticks that, like, like if this is your grip and a magazine would normally go in this way, well, these go in this way and they're really small. So it's like putting a 6-inch long USB drive in the bottom of your gun. So you're not going to get reloads out of it. I like electric rifles. They seem to work relatively well. And I like green gas pistols. Elite Force makes a Glock 17. If you get the licensed Glocks, they're pretty good. Like, we've used the fuck out of ours. I bought 10 of them. I've broken some magazines, base plates and feed lips, dropping them on the concrete. Replaced the feed lips, or not, replaced the base plates with, I thought it was Tango Down, but it's not. Some other brand of base plate. They're all orange. The feed lips, they have repair kits that we bought, and then we've taken some magazines that have been broken and we scavenged parts, and like, oh, we got 5 broken mags, and now we have 3 working mags and 2 parts that are just like husks of magazines. The only thing like we're gonna do is like with the rifles. I mean, people play airsoft for fun, like they only shoot on full auto. That's all they do. And we're gonna not do full auto. Like, you don't, like, motherfucker, you don't own a machine gun, you don't get to play machine gun. Now I've had airsoft dudes tell me about, like, hey, these are some modifications you can make so that the first round on an electric gun it's got all the juice, because a lot of times cheaper guns, the first round's got some first round drop off as the gears spool up to move the piston fast enough to get the same as the rest of the rounds, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a fucking genius at that at all. But as for brands on rifles, I went to high school with a fella some years ago who owns an airsoft shop, airsoft field, and he recommended the Crytac Alpha CRB, and it's like a little 10.5-inch looking gun, all metal, all aluminum, and Crytacs are made by Chris, not like a dude named Chris, but like the people who make the Chris Vector. They make Crytacs airsoft guns, and the Alpha CRB is a couple $100 versus like some of the $1,000 souped up, and I guess they even go higher than that. But the few $100 Alpha CRB is a pretty robust little gun that won't break the bank. I have one, must be downstairs in my office. And I don't ever use it because I don't have anyone normally to use it with. I think out of our normal training group, 2 of us own airsoft rifles, and we live like 3 states away, so we don't get together very often due to physical distance. And when we do get together, it's usually doing other stuff because it's a whole group of folks and nobody else has invested in airsoft rifles here yet. But once we get Gunfight Club going, maybe some folks will see the reason to get involved in, or make a purchase, or maybe they'll just buy a pistol for like $150 or whatever those things cost, and they'll just do pistol stuff. But yeah, there's my take on. And when it comes to masks, you can get one for like $35-$40, which is what our rental masks are. Or you can spend more money so that it fogs less and is more comfortable and you can breathe easier and people can hear your voice better. But it's kind of like buying work boots. If you wear your work boots 2 days a year, you can go to Walmart and spend $40, $50 and be like, yep, good enough. I only got to wear them a couple days a year. If you work 60-hour weeks every week in work boots, you should get good ones because you're going to spend a lot of time in them. Same with a mask. If you're going to spend a lot of time under it, you should get a good one. My favorite is the Push Unite mask, but it's a little salty. So there we go. That's the plans here. We're doing a gunfight club. Let's see. Oh, you guys are lucky. I know we've been talking a lot in the last few weeks about Wolverine Warfare, and Jay Gibson will be here in this very room like the day after tomorrow. So we'll get to do some more plotting for that. Instead of just texting back and forth, we'll be able to put our heads together, come up with some more cool shit. Adam, I do not use anything on my mask except credit card debt or copious amounts of cash. My mask was over $200 and I've never had it fog. But when I started doing a lot more force on force, I would end up with the mask on all day for two days in a row, sometimes more days in a row. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to get the most comfortable, nicest mask I could get. So I did. And it also seems to help on the fogging end. In fact, I think my replacement lenses cost more, like one replacement lens for my mask costs more than buying an entire rental mask. So I don't really know what stuff works well for not fogging. I just overspent, and it seemed to have helped. So yeah, Jay will be up here. We're going to put our heads together. I'm going to see him and Lewis. Maybe Titan. That's Lewis's dog. I like Titan. Still got some open slots for dynamic pistol in Paducah. This is the only dynamic pistol. The last one was August of last year, August of 2023. And the next one won't be at least until 2026. So if you are looking for a dynamic pistol, Paducah, Texas in November. Oh, let me go down and look. And it's essentially like a dynamic week 5. It's all 4 days of pistol stuff. 7, 8, 9 November. And we're going to do the first 3 days and 2 days. So it's going to be 2 fucking long ass days that figure 12-hour days. And then Smash Mouth Pistol will be on the 9th and a low light pistol workshop on the 9th. So 3 long fucking days. But no dynamic pistol happening again until at least 2026. Adam, the mask, the name of the company is Push, and the mask model is the Unite. They have a more budget mask, which seems like it uses the same lenses. So I imagine the anti-fogging capabilities are good. I think it just has a more economic protective part. I don't know what you call the rest of it. Yes, Titan is a good pupper, and I will talk about other dogs anytime I like. Especially, said, don't you owe my dog some dog treats, Mister Faust? Nate and I had we both got the same can from the same place. His can came in yesterday or day before, something like that, and he went and filed for a stamp and got it like 18 hours later. Today's what, the 25th, so I am 1 month and 3 days into my stamp. Just saying, the gay TF is doing the gay TF stuff. Getting close to the deadline for hosting for in 2025. So if you would like to see Tremis Dynamics at your range next year, you have like 6 days to get in touch with me about starting to put those plans together, like starting to work out dates and classes. On the same token, if you would like me to host you here, you have 6 days to get in touch with me and start working out dates and classes and that kind of thing. Because the schedule will be filled and posted about shortly, but within the next few weeks. So like if you wait until the middle of October and say, hey man, would you like to come here to my place in Springfield, whatever state, because they all have a Springfield. Like, nope, I ain't got any fucking dates left. So also, if you're an instructor type that's like, hey man, I want to come to PA, I'm like, great, enjoy yourself. All my weekends here are booked, so I wanted to tell you, maybe you can come while I'm not here. In which case, that's cool and all, but I won't have anywhere for you to stay. So October 1st is the cutoff for that. Oh, Mr. Faust. Oh yeah. Anyhow, so I was talking about with Fausty here. So we made a bet about whose stamps would come back first, and whoever won and got their stamp back first had to buy the other one's dog some dog treats. So at least that way everybody wins. Oh, that wasn't even what I was looking for. Looking for my notes. I was talking to Mr. Biggers. He wants to do a combo class with me, him, and Calvin. So I think that would be pretty cool. I guess I can take those notes and delete them. That was for Dynamic Week 6. That's over. Oh, we also have a Day Zero radio ops coming up in Allentown, 13 October. And you can save some money if you ask Mike Fiore what the coupon code is, because he has a coupon code. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all my notes. Now, questions. Oh, there was a question way back in there. Let me go back up here and read it. Thoughts on NATO preparing for massive casualties if we go to war? Is NATO preparing for that too? I know the U.S. was preparing for some mass casualty events. And I will say this: the current powers that be uh, in the West seem to be hell bent on going to war. Uh, and it appears to be like they're hell bent on going to war with Russia. Uh, so apparently, what has happened, this is my take on it. Um, you know, since World War II, the military industrial complex has just been feasting on American taxpayers. And it's probably 90% of the reason for Korea and Vietnam, um, because the history book reasons aren't like real. Um, and probably most of the things in the Middle East, I will give Afghanistan a pass on that. However, I will say in the last 20 some years, being in Iraq and Afghanistan, the the military industrial complex went beyond feasting on the American taxpayer. And now they are just straight up junkies. Um, and they had decades to get accustomed to wartime spending, and they do not appreciate that we're not spending with wartime spending. So all the strings are being pulled to absolutely force more war so that they can steal more labor from the American taxpayer. And uh, with that, you can't just go and lose. So I guess, preparing for mass casualties is their way of, making sure that it lasts long enough for them to get uh, their reward that they want. That's my take on it. Facebook will probably flag that and say that it's false information. Fake news, they said. Fake news. Of course, also a real good thing for uh, taking real people and getting them too preoccupied to hate their own government is to find some other government for them to hate. So it's like a win-win. Like, hey, we'll give them a boogeyman and maybe they'll just leave us alone. Would you still recommend a radio if the only person in your area was Pliskin? Well, I mean, I guess the good news about the radio is he can't send you text messages on it, picture messages of weird things. So maybe a radio would be preferable. But I would recommend a radio because a really good radio costs half the price of a Glock. Um, so if you already own a Glock and a rifle, and the normal accoutrement, magazines with bullets in it, an optic on it, a flashlight, uh, owning said radio means that if you ever find yourself in a position where there are other people who might have radios, you don't have to ask one of them if they have a spare for you. Um, because that doesn't scream asset. But if you show up with like a Yaesu VX6R, and you're like, hey, I can get it turned on and I can program something into the face. Just tell me what frequency we're on. It's the easiest way, by the way, to get on the channel that you'd like to be on is to punch the numbers right in the front. I know I would look at that person as oh, awesome. He might not be well versed in how to use that radio, but he's got one. We can tell him what those 6 digits are to punch into it, and now he's good to go with us. So I'd have one, even if it wasn't my primary tool. Kind of like when you carry stuff in your medical kit that you're like, I'm not doing a needle decompression, but the thing's like this big, it's smaller than my pinky. I'll carry one for the guy who does know how to use it. Same thing with the radio. Like if you're not real good at it, like bring it. And maybe if you find a group of dudes, uh, even if it's like a hasty, hey, I'm a good guy, you're a good guy, let's go fuck up those bad guys. Um, you got a thing you can pull out and join in. That's my thought. Oh yeah, Zach's going to be in Somerset doing. I don't even remember what the fuck he's doing. I don't remember what classes it is. Isn't there a low light in there? Definitive low light. I have not taken that from Zach. Uh, Mostly because it's tough to find a range you can shoot in the dark in. And since I got one of those, thank you, Mr. Faust. Zach hasn't been here. Well, he's been here to teach, but he had already scheduled definitive retention and entangled gunfighting. So there wasn't like a slot for him to schedule a definitive low light, but he'll definitely be back next year. And that seems to be what I would consider a priority, getting him here for definitive low light since we got a low light range. Oh, and vehicle. I haven't had his vehicle class either, although I hear it's pretty okay. I also have participated in the vehicle classes that Zach has taken as a student, which helped define his curriculum. So I imagine it's pretty good. Speaking of vehicle, we're running a vehicle class here in PA. I'm looking through my notes. 19-20 October, vehicle dynamics. And the 26th of October, week later, we are doing a day 3 vehicle and a low light vehicle workshop. So some vehicle happening here in the PA too. Yes, Foreskin, you should go take Zach's classes. You should definitely go take the low light because I've seen your low light skills and you could wow him with your impressiveness. You thought I was gonna be mean, didn't you? All right. I'm rolling back up, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, awesome. I'm at 50 minutes into this. I'll go over here and make sure nobody typed in anything on the Facebooks about questions. But like at this point, they should have typed them in the comment box if they're watching and have an actual question. And I only had a couple. I think I answered them. I think I'm going to go down and do some dry fire practice with my laser trainer. It is 3D printed. It cost about a third of the price as a fucking cert gun. So there are like some rough edges. The typical that like 3D print gives you. I think it's printed like in this orientation. So the flat surfaces tend to have some roughness to it. I wanted to, not that I needed to, but I wanted to see how it would sand. So I just grabbed a piece of sandpaper to see if it would sand flat. And it seems to sand all right. And I smoothed out under the trigger guard then a little bit since my fingers touched that. But it does, like at this point right here, like that feels like my macro. The trigger isn't anything like it. It's a slidey trigger. There's like a little panel comes off the side. I think that's where the switch is. And then there's a 9-volt battery. I'm pretty sure he said it's 9-volt in the grip. But I think when I bail from you guys, I'm gonna do a little dry practice. Only point shooting because I had them not put sights on it, and I haven't ordered a set of big dots yet. I got to get on that. John Pestusik, or however you pronounce it, from XS, if you're listening, call me. I need to get some sites. And I'm going to do a video when I go to Paducah. I'm going to stop at XS. We're going to do a video. But anyway, I'm going to go do some dry fire with this kind of thing. And you guys enjoy yourselves. I guess I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. I don't, like, Jay and Lewis won't still be here for the next live chat, so there won't be one of those. Maybe they, where are they teaching? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They won't be here Wednesday night. So even if they don't leave until Wednesday, they'll probably leave Wednesday morning. So probably not going to have any guests next week. Maybe I'll ask Andrew Smersbecker if he'd like to be a guest, and we can talk about Gunfight Club. So anyhow, out of here. You guys take it easy, and I will see you all in